Good afternoon, children. So, hope you all had a good time with your family members celebrating either Tamil New Year or Vishu. Today's class is what we have dealt in 8th standard. I have taught you in 8th standard. So, I'll just tell what you have learned. There is no need of a very detailed explanation. So we are going to see what are the causes for land degradation, how can soil be conserved. So I'll just tell you in brief, and I would like to highlight on the other part of the lesson, not it's in connection with this lesson, which is not there in your textbook. So land degradation, we know what is land degradation. When the land starts getting worn or tearing of the land. Undoubtedly, the various reasons for land degradation are deforestation, overgrazing, mining, quarrying. All these, apart from this, you have human activities. I should say human activities which are highly inhuman. Cutting of trees, killing of animals, poaching of animals. All these are the causes of land degradation. See, land is the utmost important resource, and when that land is not valued, yesterday itself I told you it takes 165 years to form 1 centimeter of soil. And that soil, you are not able to understand the value of soil. So, how it is affecting, obviously it results in soil erosion, washing away of the soil. So, when there is no soil to hold, there is no vegetation. When there is no vegetation, there is no home for the wildlife. Then it comes as a chain, it's a chain after the other, it is a chain. So there are various methods. Now what is soil erosion? Washing away of the topmost layer of the soil is called as soil erosion. And the same, when the top layer is washed away, it forms channels. Channels means pathways on the clayey soil, and such channels are called gullies. Gullies. These gullies, they are land which are not fit for cultivation, and such lands are called as badlands. It's not fit for cultivation, so you call it as badland. And one of the best examples for badland is the ravine land in the Chambal Basin. Now, what are the measures we can take? Then what is sheet erosion? Sheet erosion is nothing. The top layer of the soil, when it is washed away, you call it as sheet erosion. It can be even either by water or even sometimes by wind. The top layer, it just blows off when the wind blows off. Even plowing in a wrong way, it leads to soil erosion. So there are various methods to prevent the degradation of land and to conserve soil. You have a number of ways like contour plowing, rock dam, then you have mulching, then you have fencing the grasslands, alternate crops you grow, then stop mining, or restrict the mining activities, human activities. Where I told you fencing, it is called as shelter. There are so many methods to conserve soil. So, soil is one of the most important resources, and without soil there is no, as I told you, it is called as the life system. Because the entire natural vegetation, forest, wildlife, your mind, mining activities, human beings, everything, all the entire life system is taking place in the land. So when I was these days during the period of lockdown, when I was reading as daily when I read the newspaper, I think it was on 3rd April 2020, editorial column, I came across an article called, the heading is Safe Forests, Safe People. I'll just tell you a gist of that is in brief, some of the points I have taken it down directly. Maybe I'll give a small explanation of it. It says destruction of forests sends wild animals and deadly viruses they carry closer to human beings. So what does destruction of forests do? You're sending wild animals away from the forest. They carry deadly viruses and these come closer to human beings. That is what we are facing today. The rapid spread of COVID-19 caused by a virus, SARS-CoV-2, the name of the virus, across the world has focused attention on the seemingly invisible process. Seemingly, it looks as though it is invisible. And this helps the pathogen. Pathogen is virus. Originally found in wild animals, it makes them leap to humans, jump to humans. Another dimension of this, what is written in the article, is a global trade in species. Where? In Wuhan. Global trade of animal species, it includes the pups to rats, the civets to wild foxes. Along with the domestic animals, these were also sold in the markets. And again, in one of the newspapers, that is in one, these days, one articles, that the writer, or I think in NDTV I saw this thing. Insatiable greed for meat. Insatiable greed, insatiable, that is unquenchable. You cannot satisfy the greed. That is the word, the meaning of the word insatiable. Greed of the Chinese for meat has resulted in this disease called COVID-19. How important the land is to us, because only if there is land, forests are there. So again it says, biodiversity in forests harmlessly retains dangerous viruses. So it helps you to retain the dangerous viruses and other pathogens among a vast pool of wild animals away from people. What this phenomenon makes clear is that governments should stop viewing undisturbed landscapes. See, you think that these are all undisturbed, they have nothing to do, and you start exploiting the landscape because you consider it as an impediment. It is impediment to economic development, because they will block you. It halt. All these, if you are not exploiting or destroying it, this will be a block to economic development. This is what we think. As COVID-19 has proved, these short-term high growth trajectories can come to an abrupt halt with a pandemic. So these, the so-called economic development, it can come to a halt because of the so-called endemic is within a particular area. Pandemic, when it becomes uncontrollable at the global level. So such a terrible outcome could be witnessed again, potentially caused by a reckless exploitation of environment. In spite of repeated warnings of crippling pandemics waiting in the wings, governments paid a little attention. It is not one government at the global level. None of the governments paid attention. Their ears became deaf, their eyes became blind, and their minds became unfocused when the environmentalists were on and on and on, repeatedly warning them about such a great threat. Now a novel virus that can move effortlessly from human to human has found a large reservoir of hosts in a globalized world. Unlike previous epidemics, the latest one has extracted a staggering toll, killing people, forcing a lockdown, and causing economic devastation. This should serve as a dire warning, diamonds that most what you need that today they are. This period, this is the most important one, that hasty permissions granted for new roads, dams, mines and power projects in already enfeebled forests can unleash more scourges. Scourges is threat. See, you are not listening to, you are not bothered. You give hasty permission in the name of development, as I told you, economic development, global development, construct dams, you construct roads, you construct information, IT parks, all these things you are giving permission. Displace the forest dwellers. We have to be ready. You have to be ready for a greater scourge. It would do well to roll back its dilution of the environmental clearance system, strengthen it with a mandate to the states, and leave protected areas to scientific experts. So please don't meddle. Let these protected areas, let the scientific experts, let the environmentalists take care of it. There is mounting evidence that environmental protection confers health protection. Pristine forests with diverse species keep viruses virtually bottled up out of man's way. They should be left undisturbed. And suppose we are not bothered, or we turn a deaf ear to this warning. What is going to be the ultimate climax? It is nothing but global warming. The latest report from the chief reporter at New Scientist magazine, Adam Wong, he covers on topics like environment, climate change, energy, technology, and genetic privacy. He says, climate change could bring about the end of civilization. As we know, it within 3 decades. An Australian think tank has warned the whole world. Is it true? Climate change will cause the end of civilization by 2050. And the co-author says, the report speaks maybe for us, it is harsh, but it is a necessary truth which we have to accept. So you have, I should say, an assignment. You have to go through to the article. If you go to the website www.newscientist.com article, you will find this Adam Wong's article. And what does the report say we are in for? So you have to go in detail, write maybe in a page or 1.5 with supportive pictures about this article. Tomorrow, with this we are winding the chapter. Tomorrow we will be dealing with, it's a connected with, and one more thing children, the next chapter, whatever I have told, the last culmination of this lesson is a part of culmination of resources. And it is a gist, or that is only what you are going to, forests and wild animals, forests and wild animals, endangered species, and what are the measures taken. So, in spite of, the government has given so many measures, but are we doing it? If you don't, this is what is going to happen. So, tomorrow I will have a general session, although it is a part of our topic. I would like to have a discussion or a talk on the social, political, social, economic and human values when we go against nature. So what value we should have when we make use of nature. So thank you children. See you tomorrow.